Okay, so let's continue the lecture. Okay, so in the first hour, you learn the stock market in Taiwan, also the futures market in Taiwan. And in this hour, I'm going to introduce you a call option. But before this, I will tell you more about futures in order to compare with options. Okay, so futures is a contract that is two counterparties. They want to trade something like stock index in the future. So, for example, if they want to trade the stock index futures in Taiwan, today the index level is about 12,500 points. We just see the market, right? And the buyer, there are buyer and seller. Buyer means they want to trade a contract expired in August. So the last trading day is the third Wednesday, okay, of August. And the contract size, okay, for each point it is NT dollar $200. All right, so if they sign a contract that expires on the third Wednesday in August, the buyer signed this contract. That means he believes the Taiwan stock index on this day or before this day will go up above this level, 12,500 points. Maybe he believes it will goes up to 13,000 points. However, the seller think in the future, the Taiwan stock index will goes down below 12,500 points. Maybe he or she believe it will goes down to 12,000 points. So on the day or before the day, not today, we don't know in the future what the stock index will go, right? So if it goes to 13,000 points, then the buyer, this is the buy price, and he or she can sell the futures contract at this point. So the buyer will earn 500 points times 200 NT dollar. Okay, so this is the total profit for the buyer. And the seller has to sell the stock index at this point, 12,500 points. So the seller will lose 500 points times $200. So the seller will lose okay 1,000 or 100,000 points. Okay, so this is the situation if in the future the stock index goes up to 13,000 points, then the futures buyer will earn 500 times 200 NT dollars, and the seller will lose 500 times 200 NT dollars. And what if the situation is the stock index goes down to 12,000 points? Then the buyer will lose 500 points times 200 NT dollar, and the seller will earn 500 points times 200 NT dollars. Okay, so this is the situation for futures buyer and sellers. Both of them have the obligations. Okay, because they sign a contract, so they have obligations. If goes up, buyers has to, the seller also has to sell at the contract agreement according to 12,500 points. If goes down, the buyers also have to buy at 12,500 points. That's about the futures. So now, what is options? So the options gives the buyers, here at first I mean call options. So the buyers, if you buy a call option, in the same example, what happens? The buyers buy this call option, and the call option exercise price, suppose it is also 12,500 points. That means the buyers can exercise this contract and buy the stock index according to this price label, 12,500 points. And the seller also, if the buyer want to exercise, then the seller must sell the stock index according to the exercise price, 12,500 points. But the difference between the call option and the futures is that the buyer here, the buyer for call option has the right, not obligation. So the right means the buyer can choose to exercise or not. So you see the difference, right? So if the situation is the stock index goes down to 12,000 points, then the buyer can decide not to exercise this right. So he can give up, he can run away, so it does not necessary to buy the index according to 12,500 points. Okay, so this is the main difference between call option and futures. Or you can say options and futures, because I will introduce you another type of options later. Okay, but here the seller still has the obligation. So if the buyer want to exercise, the seller has to do the thing the buyer wants. So this means the buyer has the right more advantage for the buyers, right? So if you want to own this right, you have to pay something, okay? So the buyer has to pay the premium to get this right. So you can check the premium of the option every day, okay? So if you want to buy the call option with exercise price 12,500 points, expire in August, how much you have to pay in terms of the premium. Okay, so this is just give you a figure to know the difference between futures and options. And now I will go more basics and details about options in the following slides. Okay, so we talk about stock options. First, we learn call options. Okay, someone asked me about options have the same expiration date as futures. In the Taiwan Futures Index, you can check the contract for the index futures and the index options. And generally, they have the same expiration date. That is according to the rule that is the third Wednesday for each month. So for the stock index futures, the expiration date is the same as that index options. Okay, so now call options gives their owners or their buyers the right to buy stock at a set price. And this set price we sometimes call exercise price or strike price. Okay, the same meaning, just different names. So while call option holders have this right, they do not have any obligations. So this is the main difference between options and futures, because in options, the holders or the buyers have the right instead of obligations. But in futures, the buyer and the sellers, both of them have obligations. No one has the right, okay? So call option holders have this right. They do not have any obligations. They may exercise the option. Okay, exercise the option means you want to execute the contract, but they are not forced to do so. So you can think of it as buying a ticket to a concert. The ticket holder may attend the concert, but is not forced to do so. This is the meaning of right. You can decide you want to go to the concert or not. You are not forced to do so. So call options gives their owner the right to buy stock. And the other type of option, we say it is put option. So put options gives their owner the right to sell the stock. So call option is the right to buy the stock, while put option is the right to sell the stock. So that's the difference between call and put. So how do we describe an option? So because companies have stocks issued, they also have preferred stock, common stock. They also issue bonds, a lot of things. So how to describe them differently? Okay, so I'll show you how to describe an option. So in addition to the name of the stock, it can be used to buy or sell. An options description also includes three other elements. That is the strike price. So you want to describe an option, you have to specify the strike price in the description, okay? And you also have to describe the month of expiration, because option has expiration date. So you have to specify what month this contract will expire. And the type of option, is it a call or it is a put? Okay, so these are the main four elements to describe an option. So let's take a look at an example. So for example, we can see this is a description. 1 YAC, this is the ticker of the company stock. April, that is the expiration of month. 40, you can guess it is the strike price, right? And call, that means you have to say what type of option. Is it a call or is it a put? Okay, more detail. This particular option gives its owner the right to buy, because this is a call option, so the right is to buy the stock. By how many shares of the stock? In United States, if you want to buy one stock, that means you want to buy 100 shares. So the same for the option. If you want to buy one call option, that means you have the right to buy 100 shares of common stock. So YAC is the ticker to specify which company stock you want to buy. And at $40 per share, this is the strike price. And the contract is valid till the late next April. Okay, this is the expiration month. Okay. So more detail is one indicates that this is one call, which conveys the right to buy 100 shares. So if So every call option carries the right to buy 100 shares of the stock. So 2, if this is 2, then that means it permits the purchase of 200 shares. So 10 means 1,000 shares, and so on. So this is the first element to describe an option. YAC is to say the common stock. YAC common stock is the underlying security. So the stock that the co-owner can purchase. So if this is IBM, that means the common stock the owner can buy is IBM common stock, not YAC common stock. Okay. And there are options outstanding on hundreds of different stocks. So we can see YAC, IBM, or Apple, AAPLO, or Microsoft, and others. In addition to YAC 40 calls, there may be also some others like ABC 40 calls, XYX 40 calls, and so on. And April is the expiration month, means next April. So there will be other YAC option trading that expire in other months, such as YAC May, 40 calls, YAC August. So that means different contracts expire in different months. So unlike rights, okay, that is I teach some other products like rights. We can compare options and rights, but I will not teach the rights now. And 40 is the strike price, also called exercise price. So there will be other YAC April call options with other strike prices. And in US market, the strike prices difference, I mean, the intervals is 5 points. So you can see we have 40, we also have 35, we also have 45 or 50. That is 5-point interval. Okay, so this different strikes means different contracts. Okay. And the last element is the type of option. So here is a call option. And according to the definition, it permits its owner to buy stock. So if it is a put option, then that means the owner has the right to sell the stock. So put means sell stock. Okay, so there's some elements to describe an option. Okay, the number of options and what the underlying security, that is the common stocks you can buy or sell, and expiration months, and the strike price, and type of option. Okay, after understanding how to describe an option, the next thing you might need to know is the option premium. That is how much to buy an option. So the market price of an option is set by supply and demand, and we call it as a premium. So if the YAC option we just discussed is trading at a premium of 2.50, that means it has a market value of $250, because for each contract you can buy 100 shares of stock. So that means you have to times 100. So each option covers 100 shares of stock, and an option's price must be multiplied by 100 to arrive at its actual dollar value. So again, an option quoted at 3, that means it has a market value of 300 US dollar. And so you want to buy 2 options, and the option premium is $4.50, and you have to times 100. So the total dollar value is 900 US dollar. Okay, this is how many options you want to buy. This is the price for each share. And this is, you have to times 100 shares. So a person only a YAC, okay, so here is to compare you can buy the company's stock using different ways. You can buy, just use the money to buy the common stock. You can borrow money to buy the common stock. You can also buy the stocks option. Okay, so this is to compare different ways. So I will jump to let you know what is the composition of the option premium. Okay, so we just learned the premium of an option. So now we want to know what consists of the premium. There are two parts. The first one is called intrinsic value of the option. So think about this example. While YAC common stock is trading at 40, so if there is an option, YAC 40 call options, that means the strike price is also 40. The stock price today is also 40. So this kind of option, we say it is at the money. At the money means the stock price is the same as the strike price. So think about this. You buy a call option and the strike price is 40. And now the current stock price is also 40. So if you want to exercise this call option, that means you want to use $40 to buy the stock, right? So the same as you buy the stock in the stock market using $40. So the same, okay? So this indicates that there will be no profit or loss if the option were exercised and the underlying shares were immediately sold. So you exercise this call option, you can buy at 40, and you sell in the market also at 40. So no profit or loss. So we say this kind of option is at the money. It does not make sense to go through the trouble of exercising, that is buy at 40 and then selling at 40 and no gain. This is true for all options when their strike prices are the same as the current market prices for the underlying stocks. And at the money, option has no intrinsic value, okay? So in this case, the intrinsic value is 0, no intrinsic value. So you can think intrinsic value is if I exercise this option, can I have any profit? So if no profit, that means the intrinsic value is 0. Okay, so this is for the case when this option is at the money. So let's check other cases. So when the call option strike price is higher than the underlying stock's current market price, then we say this option is out of the money. Okay, out of the money. So the example like this, a 55 call will have no interest value if the stock were trading at 52. So the strike price, I use the symbol K to denote it. The stock price, now I use S to denote it. So in this case, that means the strike price is higher than the stock price. So if you have this kind of, you exercise it, that means you have to buy the stock at 55 per share. But currently, the market of the stock is only 52. So it will make no sense to exercise this option, because you exercise, that means you buy at 55 and then sell in the market at only 52. And this will result in an outright loss. So out of the money option, like at the money option, have no interest value, because interest value is you exercise, then you can have a positive profit, right? So if no positive profit, that means the interest value is 0. Okay, so now we have two cases. One is at the money option, the other one is out of the money option. So the third case is if a call option strike price is lower than the underlying stock's current market price. So that means K is smaller than S. So this kind of option is in the money. Okay. So the example is a stock trading at 48, a call option on the stock with a strike price 45. So that means K is 45. The stock price is 48. So if you have this call option, you can exercise and buy the stock at 45 and immediately sell in the market at 48. So you will have immediately profit $3 per share. So it will worth at least $3, right? So the call will allow the purchase by exercising the call option of the stock at 45 per share, and the share could be sold immediately at 48 per share. So this option has an interest value of 3. So we can calculate the interest value is, in this case, is S minus K. That is 48 minus 45. So the interest value is 3. It is a positive value. Because you exercise this call option, you have a positive profit. Okay, so in the money call option, there is a positive interest value, but for out of the money or at the money call option, the interest value is 0. Okay, however, if you buy an option, you pay the premium. It can exceed its interest value. That means if buy a call option, I denote the premium is C. It can be greater than interest value. And the existing value is called the time value. Okay, so as you know, so far at the money or out of the money options, both of them has 0 interest value, right? But when you check this kind of option, it also have a positive premium. So that means call option value has 2 parts. One part is interest value, and the other part is time value. So I denote time value as TB. So even for at the money or out of the money options, their interest value is 0, but you still have to pay some money to buy this kind of option. Suppose you pay $2 for this call option. That $2 is you buy the time value. Okay, so what is the economic meaning of time value is that you buy this call option, and this call option will expire in August. So you still have time to wait. The stock price goes above the strike price. So if the strike price for Taiwan Semiconductor stock is $400 per share, so maybe in 1 month, the stock price can go to $500 per share. So in this month, you can wait. You pay something and you wait it above $400. Even today, it is only $350 per share. So this option is out of the money, no interest value, but you are willing to pay maybe some money to get this opportunity. In the future, it will go up above the strike price. And this is the time value. So the entire premium for at the money or out of the money options is time value. So when the option is in the money, the amount by which its price exceeds the interest value is called time value. So again, the premium minus the interest value is the time value. Okay, so if it is in the money, there is a positive value for interest value, right? So the premium exceeds its interest value is called time value. So this also teach you how to calculate the time value. You have the premium. You also know how to calculate the interest value. Okay, remember the interest value I just told you is for the in the money option is S minus K. This is for call option. Okay. Okay, so you can calculate interest value, and you have the premium for this call option, then you can calculate the time value. So let's check some examples. Example 1, a 60 call is priced at 4, while the underlying stock is trading in the open market at 60. So stock price 60, strike price 60. So this option is at the money, so no interest value. So this is the premium of call option. So the time value, how much is the time value, you can calculate, right? So $4 and the interest value is 0. So the time value is also 4. In this example, the entire premium consists of time value. Example 2, an 80 call is priced at 2, while the underlying stock is trading in the open market at 79. So the strike price 80, the call option premium 2. The current stock price is 79. So you can check if you exercise this call option, you have to buy at $80, but current stock market only worth 79. So this option is out of the money, right? So no interest value again. So the call option premium 2 is entirely the time value. So the time value is 2. So the entire premium consists of only time value. Okay, so example 3. A 70 call is priced at 7, while the underlying stock is trading in the open market at 74. So the strike price 70, call option premium 7, current stock price 74. So the option, how much in the money, you can calculate the interest value. So the interest value in this example is in the money, S minus K for call option. S is 74, K is 70. So there is 4-point interest value. So since the option price, or we say premium, is 7, it consists of interest value and time value. So interest value you just calculate is 4. So the time value is 3. Okay, if you understand these 3 examples, I believe you understand what is the meaning of at the money, out of the money, in the money, and you also know how to calculate the interest value and time value. And later we will have again to let you practice some questions, and one of the questions is to check if you understand this. And options, some properties you have to know before you want to trade options. And the first is options are classified as wasting assets. So this is very different from the stock. You can buy the stock and hold it for a long time. But if you buy an option, you have to understand first, it has expiration date, so you cannot hold forever. Second, it is a wasting asset. So what is wasting asset? Let's see. This reflects the fact that the stock options, as they near expiration, will lose more and more of their time value. So if you understand the meaning of time value, that means the time value is you want to pay and you have time to wait. The stock price goes up above the strike price, right? So if it is close to expiration, that means you have no chance to wait the stock price goes above the strike price. So this kind of value, I mean time value, will lose more and more. Okay, so it is like you hold an option, and when the time goes up, then you lose value because the time value decreasing. Okay, so this is what we call it a wasting asset. It makes sense because while investors are willing to pay extra money, that is the premium over interest value, that is time value, right? You want to pay this extra money for an option when there is a lot of time left before expiration. So as the option nears expiration, there is less and less time for the underlying stock to move in the right direction. So for a call option, the right direction means the stock price goes up, especially above the strike price. So if it is a put option, the right direction is you want the stock price goes down below the strike price. So time value is just that options with a long time before expiration have relatively high time value. But options approaching expiration have less and less time value. So time value measures how long you still have chance to earn more, right? That is when the stock moved in the right direction. So let's see some examples. An XYZ 70 call expiring in 8 months might be selling at $6 when the underlying stock is trading at 69. So even this call option is out of the money. Anything? Okay. So this is an out of the money option. So you want to pay $6 per share because you can wait 8 months. In 8 months, it can become in the money, right? So the option is out of the money, has no interest value. You understand this very well. The price of the option consists only of time value. So $6 only time value, right? So the co-buyer might reason, even though the option is out of the money right now, I think during the next 6 months, the company stock XYZ will rise to about 85, above 70, the strike price, right? So if it does, I can exercise the option at 70, selling the stock at 85 and make the profit, right? So the profit will be 85 minus 70 times 100 shares, okay? This is the profit if you want to sell. You can see the sale price 85 minus 70 times 100 shares, the exercise price. But you have to know you pay the premium today, right? So you still have to consider the cost you buy this call option. It is $6 times 100. So this is the cost. So your net profit is 900 US dollar. So I'll take a chance and buy the option. What if instead of going up, XYZ is still at 69 4 months later, when the option is only remaining time is only 2 months to expire, right? Would that same investor still be willing to pay 6 for the option now that it has a shorter life? So in theory, the option will now be trading lower, probably only $3 per share or even less. So let's suppose that XYZ never moves from a price of 69, it stays in 69 for 4 months, and it is still there when the option has only a day or so of life. So what kind of time value will people be willing to pay for an out-of-the-money option that has only a few days to run? So virtually nothing. If you have no time to wait it to go in the right direction, then you will not willing pay anything, right? Okay, so this is to sum up. This is why we say options are wasting assets, because as the time goes by, then the value will decreasing if the stock price does not change. Okay, so far, do we have any question? Okay, let me take a look up if you have any feedback so that I can answer some question from you. Okay, I see the question that if the strike price is higher than the market price, I think you mean the strike price is higher than the stock price, right? Why the buyer don't buy from the market? Okay, this is a good question. I think you are asking the buyer buy from the market, you mean buy the stock from the market? Okay, so if you think the stock price can goes up in the future, one choice is you just go to buy the stock, right? The other way is go to buy the stock option, I mean the call option. The difference is that if you buy the stock, then if the stock price does not goes up in the future, it goes down, you will lose, right? Lose money. If you buy stock, you understand this very well. But if you buy the stock option, I mean call option, it goes up, you can also make profit. But if it goes down, you can just lose the maximum money you lose is just your premium. Okay, so if the stock price goes to zero, you only lose the premium. But if you buy the stock, you lose everything. Okay, so that's the difference between buying the stock comparing with buying a call option. So if the strike price is higher than the market price, this kind of option is out of the money, I mean call option. So it is cheaper because the premium only consists of the time value because interest value is zero, right? So if you bet in the future, the stock price has 90% goes up, you can buy this kind of out of the money option and you can make a lot of money because it is cheaper. That means you invest a small amount of money and it goes up, it becomes in the money, then you can sell in the market of this kind of option with higher price. Okay, so someone asked, options are cheaper, no need to have so much capital. Good, that answer part of this question. Is it better to long or short options? Okay, this is also a very good question. I think long means you want to buy the option, you want to hold the option, and that depends on your belief. Okay, suppose you buy the stock option, that means you believe in before maturity or in short term, the stock price will sharply goes up and you can go to buy the call option. And short means you want to play the sell side, right? So that means the maximum profit is you can earn the premium, right? So in this kind of player believes that in the short term, the stock price will not go sharply up. So it may go slightly up or may stay in the same level or even goes down. So if the stock price, I mean the option before maturity, it is not in the money, then you can safely earn the premium. So the short option, I mean the seller has different beliefs than the buyer, okay? So that depends on your belief, know which way is better. But you know, if the stock price has less chance to go up sharply, generally it may a little bit fluctuate. Okay, if no very good news, the stock price does not change a lot. So selling or short option generally, you can earn the premium. But if you want to play the short side, then you have to control your risk very carefully because if that some big news happens to the stock, to the company, then it can fluctuate a lot. Then short side will lose a lot of money. So you have to control the risk. That is my view to play a short option. It is you have more chance to earn a premium, but you have to do very you have to manage the risk very carefully. Okay. So maybe Professor Zhang has some different views or some explanations or some suggestions for you to trade the options. You need to play the long side or play the short side. Okay. Okay, so I don't know if you understand option well. In this hour, I just briefly introduce core options and let you know what is in the money, at the money, and out of the money, and you know how to calculate the interest value and time value. And if no problem, maybe we can take 10-minute break and come back. We will have a game. I will use Kahoot to check if you understand today's lecture well. And we have only 10 questions. It covers the questions from today's introduction, from the stock exchange, futures exchange in Taiwan, and also one question from the up. Okay, so how about we come back at 11:33, and I will open Kahoot, and you can try to log in, and we will then start from playing again. And just remind you, you play well, you rank from 1 to 10, then you can get additional points. So you can review what you learned today in these 10 minutes. Okay, see you at 11:33. Okay, 10 minutes later.